Hey everyone, happy Monday. Welcome to this live session that is called Cleanse. Cleanse. Yes, cleanse your interior. Why? Have you ever heard of cleaning your colon, your intestines, of having them totally empty? Why we want to clean our interior organs? Well, we are on a detox challenge. I am preparing you for the detox challenge. But first, I will introduce myself. My name is Anna Hofstra, and this is Anna's faith and fasting journey. I've been trained as a political scientist. I was working in corporate and government jobs, and I had it all together as well. I thought I had it all together. I was a young working girl in my 20s. I had a nice guy. I had a wonderful partner. I was living at a top one location in Amsterdam. I had enough money to spend. I had good hobbies. I had my family. I had a few friends. But deep down, I knew I was on the wrong track. And I knew that I was holding a lot of tension in my body. It didn't matter how many hours I would work, what kind of work I would do. I felt so unhealthy. I looked healthy. I was maybe in the best years of my life, but I couldn't be more unhappy. I couldn't get connected to my friends, to my family, to my partner. And then one day everything broke down. I got fired and I lost my relationships all in a few weeks time. And after that nothing would work. Traveling wouldn't work. I was gifted with skills to travel, to to speak to many people in Spanish, in French, and still there was nowhere on this planet that I would feel happy, even when I was at the ocean. Until one point that I stayed on the ocean and I fell ill. When I fell ill because I was heartbroken and my mother called me to tell her she was having cancer for the second time. I felt so much pain in my breasts that I knew it was time to stop eating and to stop overeating. I discovered many years after that, well, around that time. So I was in Mexico on a beautiful beach. I discovered that I had to stop eating, that I had to stop overloading my body, and that I needed a radical detox. So I stayed in the bed, I stopped eating. I haven't been eating for 5 days until the pain in my breast subsided. Because that was this strong intuitive sign that I needed to stop eating and that I didn't want anything else bothering me besides a natural cure. Because I had visited so many doctors. For my burnout, I was looking at doctors. I was visiting neurologists and also the pediatrician, physician, and specialist in burnout, which told me, Anna, if you're burned out, you need a lot of vitamins. Yes, your system needs to recover. You need to rebuild your minerals. Go first, take your vitamins, take some powders too. And no, I took them. Yes, I took them, but no, they didn't work. And when I got that pain in my breast, I knew that I needed to let my body heal itself. Because our body stores emotions. It stores emotions in all kinds of organs. There are even specific organs that store the emotions of specific memories. And they can be stored in your breasts. That's why a lot of people have breast cancer. They can be stored in your kidneys, they can be stored in your belly. Most diseases start in your belly. They start in your intestines. And that's why I started cleaning my intestines. I started cleaning them in 2020 in a very professional program that was also a 5-day detox, and I rinsed them. And why? Why is that so important? Because our belly are like our brains. There are all kinds of tubes, right? Tubes going from left to right. That looks like your brain. And that's why they call our bellies, our intestines, our second brain. And this brain is very intelligent. It knows when you've had enough, when you overloaded. It even makes you fart, which is also a sign you overate. But it can speak to us so loudly, and we become aware when we take time to listen. A lot of us do not have the time to listen. A lot of us have an overloaded belly. Most people never get to clean their intestines in their whole life. And you know what? They are always busy. If your intestines are always busy and they never get a break, will they keep healthy? Isn't that why all diseases start in the belly, in the intestines? So that's why in the detox challenge, we're gonna clean them. We're gonna clean them safely, simply, and we're gonna do it professionally with a very clear guide that I composed for you guys. I have a guide on my Stan store, and we're gonna put a link now in the comments so you can read it. This is a free guide, and all right, I will put it in the comments. So I can show you now this beautiful tool. This is only the tube, and it's not gross. Maybe you've seen it. This is a clean tube, and this is a container that you can fill up with 2 liters of water. And then this gets connected to the tube. You connect it. See? The tube gets on it. And the water will fall from the tube, from the container. It will run to the tube. It arrives at this rectum. And yes, you put it in your butt. Yeah, I'm not afraid to speak it. It can be embarrassing, I know. But when it comes to your health, we need to do the uncomfortable stuff. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. And once you rinsed your colon a couple of times, it gets to be normalized. And it gets easier. And on its own, yes, the first time it can be scary. And I know that first times are scary. I know that we are all sensitive beings, and I know that we don't like to see all the poop go out. A lot of us are scared when we have diarrhea, right? So that's actually what's gonna happen. If you're gonna rinse your belly with water, you're gonna put in water, and well, your poo is gonna become fluid, right? And fluid poo is diarrhea. That's exactly what it is. That is very human, but that is how you get to be empty. You want to empty your colon. With an empty colon, yes, English is not my first language, forgive me. So, thank you everyone, once again, for tuning in. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're talking about cleaning your intestines, your colon. And this might sound gross, But you're doing your body a great big favor. Yes, your intestines, they want a break from time to time. I clean my intestines a couple of times a year, sometimes once a month. It depends on how many fasts I undertake. For a longer fast, it is really necessary to clean your intestines, to empty your belly. And this can take about 1 hour or 1.5 hours. But after that, you will feel clean and your body gets the chance to restore. Yes, you want to empty that colon so it can thrive, so it can rest, and your whole body gets an upgrade. Because those intestines, those are a brain on its own. Yes, and they are very intelligent. And once you give your belly a break, it will also have an effect on the other organs. Once your belly is empty, it has space to breathe. You will notice. You will notice your lungs, your whole body slowing down, and your breathing becoming so much deeper. And the deep breathing is always a sign of rest, a sign of good health, a sign of deep relaxation. A lot of us never get to breathe even lower than halfway our body, halfway the diaphragm. But you need to really breathe from your belly. A lot of us are not even able to do that. A lot of us are anxious, right? You must know a few people who are anxious on a daily basis. That's because they don't get to relax themselves. A lot of people don't know how to relax themselves anymore. That's how busy our society got. And that's how stressed people got. And once you're really stressed, it takes time. It takes time to slow down. It takes more than a few hours. It takes a couple of days. It takes a long holiday. But about holidays, give your intestines a holiday now and then. Go with me. Let's go together on the detox challenge from December 1st. Let's give your body an upgrade. Let's get this vessel to thrive and energized and be full of energy. So you can undertake those projects you think you're too tired for. You can take that big leap of faith. You can do those things that scare you because that takes energy. And your body has a lot of energy once it gets a break, once your intestines get a break. And that's why we need to empty those intestines. So, once again, this is not as scary as I first thought it was. So, the container and the tube together, I will now show them together, are a great tool to clean your intestines, to clean your lower colon at home. You can do a high colon clean, so you can go to a clinic for that. And that will be a very professional approach, but also pretty costly. And well, you have to trust those professionals with your intestines and have to really surrender. And once you do it at home, when you buy this do-it-yourself kit, this is about $15, $20, 20 euros on the internet. You can do it on your own pace. But you're gonna create a diarrhea. You're just gonna add some water to your rectum. Yes, I'm not afraid to say it. Yeah, because we're all human. We all have to poop. It's part of being human. So creating diarrhea on its own with some water on your own is a very, very safe thing to clean your intestines. But do it slowly. Do it with gentleness. And do it after the detox. We're going to do it on day 6 after you have eaten a vegetarian set of meals for 5 days. Why? Because cleaning your intestines is very hard if you have been eating fries, fat foods, a lot of meat, dairy. Those are the foods that stick to the interior of your intestines. That's how we get clogged up by a lot of fatty foods, and a lot of us are clogged up. So let's get real. The clean food, which are the vegetables, which are the fruits, they make our belly be happy and produce the good poo. Yeah, the good poo. Let's say it. The ones that flows out easy. Because a lot of us are eating processed foods. It's very, very tempting and enticing to eat a lot of cookies, a lot of chips. But we're not going to eat that in the detox. In the week of the detox, we're going to skip those food. We're going to replace it with vegetables that are tasty, with fruits that you love. We're gonna give that belly so much love in the first 5 days that it gets easy to rinse the colon on day 6. And an easy rinse gets to be easy because the intestines have had vegetables and fruits. That's what your belly loves. That's what your belly finds easy to digest. What your belly finds hard to digest are the meats and the dairies. If you compare the processing of meat to fruits, it's a big, huge difference, because meat needs like 3 days from the beginning of the colon to arrive until the end of the colon. 3 days is what it takes to process meat. And that's how long it stays in your colon. And that's how people get clogged up. That's how people can get constipated. And when you compare it to fruits, fruits can move through the colon in 2 hours, from the beginning to the end. In 2 hours, they can get out. That's why a lot of fruits are, what's that word? In Dutch, it's laxerend. So then vegetables, they can take up 1 day or half a day before they move from the beginning to the colon to the end of the colon. That's how digestion works. Like digesting food, it can be a serious, tough job for the belly if you put in a lot of meat, sugar, and fats. And sugar is also very hard for the colon to process. So try to think about that when you take your next Snickers, when you take your next glaasje wijn. Crazy Dutch, thank you for joining. Yes, I had my dinner. And wine. Yes, it's made from fruit. But still, the alcohol is very hard for your liver. And that's why it's also hard for your belly. Who wants to detox? Who wants to have high energy? Because that's what you deserve. You deserve to have this high energy, to be bold, to do the things that you don't dare, to get out of the rut, to crush your goals, to be that person, to become all that you were created to be. You can become all that you were created to be. And that's why I'm hosting this detox challenge. This detox challenge gets you clean, gets you energized, gets you pumped up, gets you ready for your best life. So you can play with your kids, play with your friends, have so much more fun in life. And that's what God wants you to have. He wants you to live your best life, to live out the plan that He has for you. And I will quote now to end this session. I will quote my favorite Bible verse that says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and the future." So, thank you for watching. Got a Dutch face. Yes, I'm also serving an international audience. That's why I like to prefer to speak English. But hold on, guys, I have a Dutch channel, so follow me and watch my Dutch channel. That would be awesome. So, Dutch healing, I also have an ocean on the wall. This is actually the Mexican coast. So thank you for tuning in. Make sure to check the comment section so you can get access to the full guide, the Enema Cleans Guide. And this is a guide to clean your colon, get you pumped up. All right. See you next time. See you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central European Time, and that's 11 a.m. Eastern Central, Eastern Standard Time. God loves you so much.